The following show may shock, disturb, and offend some viewers. The opinions, theories, and facts shared on this podcast are not widely accepted by the brainwashed masses, especially those who find dark humor offensive. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jeffrey Dahmer soaked in blood. The Unabomber blowing up. Waco, Texas, and Heaven's Gates. Aliens modified, meant for apes. JFK shot in the head by the CIA. Bigfoot and the Mothman. Son of Sam talking to dogs again. Witches, ghosts, and goblins. Mysterious noise and hauntings. Dark arts in the skull and bones. Most celebrities are probably cloned. So if you're feeling all alone, crack a beer and get stoned. I welcome you to the podcast Strange Brew. We're here to entertain you. We're here to entertain you.
It's about to get strange.
Ho, 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 you're a dirty hoe.
Welcome back to the show, everybody, and welcome back. I'm your host, Tomcat, aka Tom Thompson, the Reptilian, and tonight, who am I joined by on this very Christmas occasion?
Hey, would
It's
I
not
call
Christmas
myself
yet.
the little Christmas boy? No. Why do I always have to be a little boy? Actually,
I
and all
know.
my monikers seems to be like. I did tell you before about the
The little
group
boy
of-
you have kidnapped in your basement?
well, not about shh, don't say anything about him. About the group of friends that I used to hang out with, and they gave me like a rap.
Yes, little
Name.
penis.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
So
was
for
calling a
some
kid
reason,
at
that's
work that,
always been the thing.
I was like, you need to nickname with little penis. But then later I was calling it milkshake, and he like actually liked it. I was like, I think it sticks though. I was like, milkshake is. I was like, what up, milkshake? I was like, it suits you, you know.
Ooh, you could get cancelled for saying something like that nowadays.
You know, whatever. So I wasn't. This is bad, man. I wasn't gonna drink this month at all. I was doing decent, and then we had a work party, and I got lit up because homeboy I was just talking about. He's younger, and he just got his car back, so he drove because he doesn't really like to drink. So he drove me, another buddy, and another buddy, the older guys in the shop, and we kind of got lit. We did go-karting, and then we got liquored up. So I was like, I already broke it, whatever. Like, I'll just do dry January because I actually want to stop drinking. I do, and I want
No,
to
you
like.
won't.
I really want to cut it back. I was starting to work out consistently, and now I'm like slacking. And it's like, and the festivities are almost here. I'm gonna be off for Christmas for a little bit. So I had this in the fridge. I just want to try it. I kept seeing it at the LCBO.
Ooh, that's a strange name.
It's a lit pickle, bro. So I'm guessing it's fiery, like it's hot. Hard pickle seltzer. I was like, I just
That
have
sounds
to
gross.
try it. Do you want to try it?
Yeah, go for it. That sounds absolutely fucking gross.
It's fucking weird, man. It's weird. Like even the guy, I remember like when it first came out, I was like, this is weird. And I asked them it's funny, we went live to Twitch, because we're gonna start setting up live streams on specific days where it can be every other Sunday. That's what we're planning to do. We've had some technical difficulties and stuff, so we're trying to do that more often for everybody listening and watching, to try to do live special, like a live show every other Sunday, and be consistent so you guys can show up. But so might as well just go like raw cuts live to Twitch. And someone in the chat was just like, "How is it?" It's weird. It like I've had pickle vodka, and I used to I've drank it straight sometimes because like I'm like it was the summer and I was like I just want a shot or something like that, and the pickle vodka lasted me a long time because I just put it in Caesars and stuff like that. But even it was very weird as like a straight shot, and I like pickles but not that much. But I feel like this is like, you know, there's those weird bitches that just love pickles. You know,
Yeah, I know.
You ever met
I know
one?
a few of those. Yeah. Yep.
What pickle we talking about? Made with real pickles. There's someone that's going to listen or watch this. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had that where I was, you know? It's really weird.
Is there?
I don't know.
I don't-
Even Billy makes fun of it because like in Ontario, we have all these weird drinks and he's in New Brunswick and it's not as like, they don't have so many craft beers and stuff.
I was going to say we don't here, but we actually do. Like anywhere I go now that's like so what do you call it a liquor store, is it, when you go to get alcohol? And
Beer
what's
store,
that?
liquor store,
What was the other thing you said?
LCBO.
What the fuck is that?
That's what we call it, the LC. The
LCBO.
how do I not know this? Liquor Company something
Oh,
Ontario.
okay. So it's just like a okay.
It's our Ontario branch.
So
Someone
we
in the
have
chat
like
might look it up, but
all we have is like what we call it is the off license.
Liquor Control Board of Ontario. It's funny. I didn't actually know what they have for that. We just call it the LC, right? I start a drinking game, take a shot every time Tom says he's going to go dry. I'm trying. I'm going to. Is the plan. But I gave up on the work party. I was like, it's the festivities, but it's weird.
Yeah, we have the what's called the off license.
What's that?
And yeah, so that's like where we go to get alcohol. Like if I was gonna get alcohol, I'd be like, right, okay, I'm going to the off license to get alcohol.
Weird.
So I never knew what it meant, right?
Yeah,
so I looked it up. I chat GPT'd it. In Ireland, an off license for alcohol is usually simply called an off license. You might mean the type of shop within a supermarket. So, okay, so you have Irish slang for the off license, the offie. But it's officially just the off license. If you meant the legal name, weird. Retailer's off license. Why is
very
it
strange?
called this?
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah, the LCBO is becoming unneeded at some point because now there's in the convenience stores to keep Canadians drunk and docile and forget all their problems by drinking it away. Anyway, so we're in the Christmas season.
Just to clear that up, just for my own mental health, because it'll annoy me if I don't say it. In Ireland and the UK, apparently, the term off license comes from the type of license that is granted to a store for selling alcohol. Why is it called an off license? There's two types of alcohol licenses in this region. On license, which is alcohol is consumed on the premises, such as bars, restaurants, etc. And off license, alcohol must be taken off the premises and you cannot drink it inside these stores. For example, off license shops inside of supermarket stores that sell alcohol. So that's literally, the name is like a literal term for weird. Like you take your alcohol and you bring it home or bring it somewhere else.
It's not like IAA, Ireland's Angry Alcoholics.
Okay.
I figured that, it's... Well, let's just get into the episode, okay? I smoked some weed before this. Let's have fun. Don't they just have like a whiskey delivery weekly in your country? That's so funny. Yeah, like they had milk delivery. It's just whiskey for Irish.
It wouldn't actually surprise me if we did. Well, actually, on the subject of that, though, because we're quite... on this show, a lot of times, we're quite the contrary to what you would think. So... Well, Tom is drinking hot pickle or whatever it's called, or
lit pickle, bro. It's not hot. I
am spicy. Drinking 3 mint peppermint tea.
Faggot.
That's normally what I get back to. That is
gay. Oh yeah. Okay. So let's get into it. Like, this is the Christmas time. Aaron suggested this. We're talking about doing some Christmas stuff, and I was like, we've done a Christmas crime special. Like, it seems like, I think probably like 3 years ago at this point. So we're gonna do it again. There's some stories you might have covered. I think at least one that I recognized. The rest we try to get different Christmas true crime stories. I thought it'd just be fun. We haven't done a lot of true crime. By the time you guys hear this one, you'll soon hear one that me and Billy did about a weird serial killer, one that I just thought was hilarious, so we had to cover it. So we're trying to get back into true crime and mix it up a bit and get back into aliens. We cover a lot of conspiracy stuff, and I had a lot of guests, like blowing up on the show of like blowing up conspiracies or crazy things going on or whatever. So let's get back into true crime. Let's mix it up a bit. We're gonna get back into true paranormal. I gotta stop smoking weed before the show. Christmas is marketed as a truce in the war of life. The ads tell you that you got a few days where the chaos stops, families come together, the world softens under the snow, everyone clinks their glasses, pretends the year didn't nearly kill them. But the reality is uglier. The pressures of money, family, alcohol, as we're speaking, secrets, and expectations all pile up on a date circled in red. People have barely been holding it together all year and suddenly find themselves trapped in the same house with people who maybe resent them or they resent the most, surrounded by knives and kitchens and booze on the counter. Cops will tell you December is not a month of peace. It's a month of domestic calls, DUIs, assaults, and murder. The calendar doesn't stop human darkness. It just gives it a theme. I hear those sleigh bells ring-a-ling, jing, jing, jing-a-ling. It's like,
Have you ever thought? Here's a question, actually.
Yeah.
Have you ever been involved in any kind of altercation during like Christmas holidays or like a family party or something like that?
no, I don't think so.
Or have you ever been somewhere where like some shit
Oh
just
yeah,
went
of
down
course.
that
Oh,
you've
yeah,
been like,
actually,
whoa?
no. Now I think about it. Yeah, there was a couple times. God rest her soul. My aunt, she drank too much and it essentially killed her. And before she passed away, she looked like an Ethiopian boy, and it's just what alcohol does, right? And but gray skin, not like a dark shade, she was trying to hide, but like everybody knew, and it was just like, and my mom and her would go at it, and it's just like we're all aware of what's going on. And then my uncle that I did love to death, but everyone else it's like just found him annoying, and he was never around that often. But when he would show up, he would drink, smoke a little weed. They would drive him to the bus stop. He was like from like a place like an hour away or whatever, but only showed up sometimes. But he got into drugs and stuff, right? So there was that. And I liked hanging out with him. But even when my grandfather was dying and he's like stroked out, my uncle's just like drunk, just smoked a joint, trying to tell him hey, it's like, just talk to him. My grandpa's probably like, get the fuck out of here.
I'm dying, motherfucker.
I'm dying.
Shut up.
This is because of you. You know what I mean?
My final moments. I don't want to hear this.
I know, right? So it is. Have you ever? Because
Yeah, I would say so. I'm trying to think of anything in specific, but I can't
we
really.
do
But I've
argue
definitely,
and stuff, right?
yeah, I definitely. Maybe not
happens.
so much anymore because I try to remove myself from a lot of the family. I'll be honest. It's that thing where like I feel like when you talk to people and everyone's like, "Oh my god, my whole family's getting together and we all love each other. It's such a nice thing."
Yeah, it's
It's like
bullshit.
it's like the intro to Home Alone and everyone loves each other. It's great. And I'm like, reality is like not the case. Like I remember years ago, like going to family get-togethers at Christmas, and obviously there would be lots of alcohol involved. And then
Yeah.
as the day progresses, people start to say shit maybe that they would keep quiet normally, and then the next thing, like everyone wants to like punch the head off each other. I'm like, all right, motherfuckers, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't listen to this.
it happens with everybody, right? I feel like it's more wholesome now, but definitely back in the day, I was a shit disturber and stuff like that too. So I would like bring up conversations. It went from like conspiracy stuff to like probably like the shots, which I suppose we can say on YouTube now, to like like mass immigration, to like get them all out, just like
Nothing like that to get people going.
yeah, I know, right? Especially people that don't maybe see completely eye to eye and stuff like that. But I have my wife claims I'm condescending. That like she's like, if you just talk to people normally and like not undercut maybe comments, but when I hear like dumb shit, I'm always like,
What's I know it's not the topic for this, but
No.
Is she of the same mind as you, or does she have a different opinion?
yeah. I'm just extroverted. She's introverted.
She's more subtle about the whole
So
thing.
it's supposed to be like we're supposed to balance each other out is the idea, right? But it doesn't sometimes always go that way. But
You should
I'm
bring her
definitely
on
more
the show.
extrovert. She won't. She would never go on.
Oh my god, it'd be fucking
I know.
hilarious. I would
She
love that.
yeah, she would never.
I already have like so many funny ideas. I'm like, bring her on. I'll get you started on a big rant and then just look at her face for the next hour. Bring her on. I'll pick some dumbass, terrible horror movie, make her watch the entire thing.
Yeah, no, it would make good content. She would not want to do it though. So let's get in the first one. On Christmas Day, this is a very famous case, and this is in 1929 in rural Stokes County, North Carolina. Tobacco farmer Charlie Lawson gathered his wife and 7 children together and did something that would creep into America folklore. Days before the holiday, this poor working family did something unusual. Charlie took them to town, brought everyone brand new clothes, and professional family photo was taken. Oh boy, we're gonna get together and we're gonna take a family photo.
Is that actually
Yep.
yikes?
I know, scary.
Do
Especially
you know
back
what that
then.
kind of looks like? I'll be
They took
honest.
20 minutes to make that photo.
Dude, you know what that kind of looks like to me? And I feel like we definitely talked about this on an episode, and I'm sure there's a name on this. Maybe you'll know it. Remember where they would like prop up family members when they were
Yes.
dead, and like they'd put them in
Yes.
suits and shit, and like have them sit in
We'll
chair
talk
and, like,
about it
take
at some
pictures
point.
with
I
them.
think we did it on the Strange.
That kind of looks like that. Also, the chick, I'm assuming, who's the chick on the far right holding the baby?
far right. I would
Is
assume
that
that
the mother?
yeah, of
No?
one of I think it's two families. The Lawson family.
She
So.
kind of looks like the woman who plays the nun from the
Oh
Conjuring
yes,
universe.
that is the mom. That is the mom, and then the rest are kids, and obviously some are older.
Bonnie Arons is her name.
Yeah.
If people want to look her up, but she looks strikingly like her.
This does look very frightening. Not gonna.
It is, and then to do it on the other end.
Yeah,
What's
I
up
know.
with his eyes?
I know. Maybe they were possessed, right? I'm starting to think
Scary.
that more people are than ever. So you know, they took him in professional photo. The struggling sharecropper. This was extravagant for him, you know, out of character kind of behavior. The photograph, the whole family was arranged stiffly, trying to look proper. Would become infamous because soon after it was taken, most of those faces would be dead. I don't have my oh, I do. What I don't have is my sad music, which I have to get back. On the afternoon of December 25th, 1929, the snow-dusted fields around the Lawson farm were quiet. Carrie 12 and Maybelle 7 were walking along a path near a barn, on their way to visit an aunt and uncle. They never made it. Charlie waited with a 12-gauge shotgun. He ambushed his daughters and shot them at close range. Ba-bah! When the small bodies hit the ground, he walked over and bludgeoned them to make sure they were dead. Jesus Christ. Then posed them with their arms folded around their chest and head resting in makeshift pillows on a stone or wood. The ritualistic pose would repeat again and again. That is crazy, man, that he's just like, hey, you know, maybe he's like called their name or something. Carrie, Maybelle, come here. Daddy, what are you doing back there with that shotgun? Like, that's fucked up, man.
Especially like these are like young kids as well.
Yeah, and the fact that he's like, all right, I know like a shotgun, right? It would, you know, it would tear you up a bit. And he's like, this will make it look better. He like folds the arms.
Yikes. Yeah, like you would imagine, like, I don't know how it works, but like, I can't imagine shooting a fucking 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
I know.
There's going to be much left to fold.
Yeah, I know. Well, one was, Maybelle was 12, or Carrie was 12 and Maybelle was 7, but it gets younger. So then he walked back towards the house. His wife Fanny was on the front porch. He raised a shotgun and fired, hitting her in the chest. The report of the gun echoed through the little wilderness. Inside, 17-year-old Mary screamed. The young boys James 4 and Raymond 2 tried to hide. Charlie entered the home and shot Mary, then hunted the boys down, killing them as well. Finally, there was baby Mary Lou, just a few months old. She appeared not to be killed by a gunshot, but blunt force trauma, likely beaten. And when neighbors found the bodies, several of the victims had been arranged with arms folded, heads placed on cushions, as if Charlie couldn't decide whether his family... whether they were his family or props in some sort of sick, twisted funeral home scene he was directing. Yo, that is like crazy though. That like you can't tell me people don't get possessed. This guy got possessed by some sort of fucking demon because you just have no care in the world, no empathy. Like, and what makes you do that where you're like, all right, it's go time. I'm going to kill the most important things to me or should be. And things that like took him generations to build. And like, look at how many kids he has. Some look like that one creepy guy looks like it's so funny because he's probably like 16. You know what I mean?
I was just going to say, he's probably like 9.
But he looks like he's like 35. And she is supposedly, it's so funny. The men, they both look older. She is 17. She's 17 and she's 17 years old. She looks like she is like 36.
Yep. I was just going to say, she looks like she's in her 40s. Like,
It's crazy,
holy
man.
fuck.
I know. The only child to survive was the eldest son, Arthur. Arthur. That morning, Charlie sent him into town to run errands. People still argue whether this meant that Arthur was spared or whether Charlie intended to kill him later but never got the chance. That's interesting. Maybe he did maybe the family was a burden, but he loved his son. He was the oldest. He was the one to carry on his legacy, and maybe he just wanted to get rid of everybody else.
Yikes.
That's so crazy. So they still don't know, but after annihilating his family, Charlie walked into the woods with a shotgun. Hours later, a single shot rang out. Searchers had gathered around the house, horrified and buzzing with rumors, rushed towards the sound and found him dead, surrounded by circles of footprints in the snow. It looked like as he was pacing around a tree again and again, working himself up to pull the trigger. The thing is, like, you're possessed, man. Like, the fact that maybe for how long, hours maybe, that he was just circling around in a circle, and then they'll be like, it's very strange, this whole case. Like, maybe at some point later on the show we'll do like a big deep dive, but it's weird.
Do you think though that is the case, or is it the fact that in a lot of these stories, like as time goes on, other stuff starts to come out where it's like, I don't know, he was like fucking his kids or something?
Yeah. Well, then you could still claim demon possession. I'm not
True,
even
actually,
religious
yeah,
in
'cause
that way.
that's
I
just
just
my
think that, like, especially after my mushroom trip recently, which I was going to tell you about on the show at some point, but like essentially I had this crazy mushroom trip, and I thought that there was I did a video about it on YouTube. You guys can go watch it. It's on YouTube and Rumble, and I break down for half an hour my kind of whole experience. And I took some like on my birthday like a month ago or whatever, and then I took just a lighter strain and did about like 3 grams or something in a tea. So I was like, okay, I have this other strain. I know it's more potent, but whatever. I'll try 4 grams in a tea. You do a lemon tech, which I soaked in lemon juice. It amplifies the experience. And so I was lying there. You don't feel good at first. And then I'm just having these like crazy dark thoughts about the world we exist in and how like this AI thing is like entered in through like phones and like is watching everybody and shit. And it was like tripped me out. And like, and I'm having this crazy experience. And then Chelsea, at first it was not bad, right? That she's holding the baby over me, and she's like, it'd be so funny if she threw up on you right now. And I'm like, no, I'd freak out, because you don't like any of that stuff, like just gross things, or like you get the ways that like textures and stuff. And I was laying there tripping out. It was like, and I was like thinking about how it just kept feeling there's a parasitic force that's like consuming humanity. And Chelsea's like, you could have been projecting that, but I'm like, no, I like felt this energy. And even like, it was crazy. People like they don't understand it if they've never done it or had their own experience. But you know that song, like, all around the world, la 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 la, all around the world. I was watching it, and they look like reptilians and shit. And I was like, yo, they're talking about it's all around the world, like that they're kidnapping children all around the world. And it just looked unnatural and weird, the way they were moving, what they were doing. And then I kept having this thought, I was like, this is why they want to move us into 15-minute cities, and they want more people to consume. And I was like starting to trip out a bit. And I was like, this is nuts. And I thought about it, I was like, this is why they're flooding the first worlds with like third worlders, why they're flooding the Western world with people from the third world. It's because I was like, they need more people to consume. These people pump out kids. And I was like, they just want more and more, like, essentially, like, not saying everyone from the third world is stupid, but like essentially just people who only consume, right? They're not like, they don't know how to benefit society. And I'm not saying that's everybody. I'm just making that clear. But it just felt like they just need more people that are living miserably to consume, and they want to push us together in like apartments and in closer contact so they can just consume. And it was like this, like, I feel that I'd never done it. You wouldn't understand, but I was like, God! Like going crazy, it felt like. And then it got better later, but...
Where is Chelsea when all this is going on? She's completely sober, I assume?
Yeah, no, she took an edible, which she hasn't done in a long time. And then it was just funny because, I'm tripping balls, and I'm explaining this to her, especially as she come back downstairs. While I'm having this happen, she's just putting the baby to bed. And it felt like hours went by. It doesn't really, but like maybe like an hour goes by, but it's been like 3 minutes. And then even she was still upstairs, and it's so funny. I'm going upstairs, it's dark as fuck, and I'm like things are moving around me and shit. And then I peek into the room. I'm like, is everything okay up here? And she's like this. and all I see is the silhouette of like something rocking in a chair.
Scary.
And I was like, oh, never mind. And she's like, I can hear her laughing after, but she's like, oh, I couldn't hear anything. I just hear your voice faintly. And then she's like, all I saw is you pop in and my fucking eyes are probably wigged out. And I was like, oh, never mind. And it's like,
You're like fucking Mr. Barnes when he comes out in the nuclear reactor and he's like, oh, and he comes out with the woods.
I bring you love. It just was so funny because because all the shadows, everything moving, it was dark. It looked like some Insidious movie. Just very funny. But I want to tell you that because like that shit gets intense, bro. Like that, and I haven't done it in a long time. I've been not using it. And like, you know, I was like, I gotta use these ones up in the freezer. I've had them for a while and before they go bad. And then I was like, who knows if they went bad and made my trip worse, but it was like, it just felt like normal mushrooms. It just felt like I had something was trying to tell me something, you know, scary stuff.
I actually, so when I hear you saying all that, I'm like, oh, I need to get to Canada and take a load of mushrooms and stuff.
It will help your psyche. Afterwards, I felt great. We were watching that Kevin Hart new stand-up, and I was laughing my ass off. And it just, those bad moments at the beginning where it's really intense, it's trying to show you something. Like either way, right? It's really trying to show you something going on in your psyche. And then afterwards, you feel kind of great. Like I was laughing, having a good time, you know, so... But that first, I've had those moments before where it's really intense, and it shows you things, and it showed me some stuff. You know, it was scary. Anyways, let's carry on. I was just laughing about. I think bro does not like masks.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
What makes you think that? Do you like my little snowflake projection? Actually,
yeah, I love that. Actually,
I was trying to figure out where I was going to put it.
But because we're recording for your show tomorrow for Silent Night, Deadly Night. Tomorrow we're doing for a Class Horrorcast, which you guys will hear by the time this comes out. So definitely go check out Class Horrorcast on our side. And then we have the watch along on Sunday for with Billy, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, which is a ridiculous movie. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait to be a little more festive. Then we have the Christmas special. So make sure everybody out there check out the Christmas special. Watch it. We're going live on December 21st. If Aaron's not there, I'm going to fly reindeer into his forehead.
This is every time.
So no suicide note explaining his motive was ever found. Only some vague, troubled letters to his parents discovered later. Over decades, theories multiplied. Some say he had suffered from a head injury, like serial killers do, months earlier before in a farm accident, and acting strangely. Since others claimed financial strain or depression, the most disturbing theory came later, that Charlie had impregnated his own daughter, Mary. So you guessed it. And the massacre was a violent attempt to erase the evidence and his own shame. The extended family members told authors and journalists that rumors of incest circulated, and one reported that Mary had confided in her about being pregnant by her father shortly before the murders. Though no pregnancy is medically documented, after the murder-suicide, the Lawson house became a morbid attraction. Families and relatives opened the home as kind of a macabre tourist site. Curious locals and gawkers from out of town paid admissions to walk through the rooms where the family had died. People filed past bullet notes of whatever, stained floorboards. Oh yeah, and Christmas cake that Marie baked for that day, now preserved under glass as a gruesome exhibit. That is wild. Some songs were written about it, including the murder of the Lawson family, turning their deaths into kind of an Appalachian murder ballad. The photograph from before the killings took a haunting quality, one that was kind of frozen forever at a moment in time, where everyone kind of stood still, is still alive, before the Christmas turned into slaughter. It is a crazy case, and she could look pregnant. She could just be frumpy, but, you know...
Yeah, she probably just has that, like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like chicks from back then didn't really have rockin' bods, I'll be honest. They kind of had that kind of, like, fridge, like, bag of milk.
Well, I was going to say, you know what they had? They had like a farm hen body, you know what I mean? They're just, like, working at the farm, slinging, whatever, potatoes on their back or...
Bag of milk.
Yeah, it
Just
is
a
weird.
body like a bag of milk. It's just like kind of a weird shape.
It's a
like,
crazy case. Like, I would be interested at some point in maybe doing a deeper dive and doing a whole episode on the case. We summarized it, but there is more details and more weird things about the case. So I'd like to kind of dig and see if I can find any more, because it is such a strange case. It just snaps all of a sudden, and the creepy photo beforehand. Like, I don't even understand that. Like, if everyone's gonna die anyway, but maybe they've never really had a family photo before this, because it wasn't like a thing that it was kind of expensive. I'm sure you have to stand there for fucking 10 minutes. Look at how fucking scary looking, So maybe he just did it as like, I'm gonna cement this in history, or to me maybe it's like the idea of like a demonic entity wanting to. It's just on my mind all the time now. It's like imprint itself.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed you're gone very demonic since I last spoke to you.
That shit scared me kind of a bit, not gonna lie. I felt it all around me, this evil, and I felt it before on mushrooms too and stuff. Like,
You see, it could be creeping in, and maybe it's slowly but surely starting to get in, and it's going to consume you. The next time you're going to have two white eyes on the show.
Dude, when I had that the Mormon on, which I think will be at us after this time, we have to release everything, and I had weird dreams about it, about the occult and like stuff like that, and it's just, I was like, it's creeping under my skin, man.
Flying too close to the sun.
And even what I did when I was younger, I used to Ouija board a lot. More I'm being like, oh fuck.
That's what I'm telling you. It's the perfect like opening scene for a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's like the shit from Talk to Me or whatever, where they're messing with the hand and they're all laughing and drinking, and be like, oh. And then the dude becomes like super fucking possessed and freaky looking. He starts smashing his head up and shit. And you're like, whoa.
As weird as it is, that may be. I just have a feeling it'd be Billy first. For some reason, he would just start spazzing out in the stream. He'd like float up, this like back all arched. Okay, carry on. Now your turn.
How would you pronounce this? Hulaver?
It kind of goes with the Christmas theme. It's like the Who's, the Hulaver. I probably would say Hulaver.
Hulaver. The Hulaver Christmas Eve Murders, Pennsylvania, 2002. Jump ahead to Middletown, Pennsylvania, Christmas Eve, 2002. The Hulaver family were supposed to be preparing for court, not for Christmas. Jean had separated from her husband Ernest after years of abuse. Their daughters, Victoria, aged 20, and Elizabeth, aged 15, had accused their father of sexually assaulting them. Interesting. There seems to be a true line here.
No surprise there.
Ernest was out on bail awaiting trial for the assaults, and the clock was ticking towards the day his daughters would testify against him. With the trial looming, he made a decision. If he killed the witnesses, the case would die with them.
He looks like he'd molest his kids, not gonna lie.
He does have one of those creepy...
I don't know, it's his face.
Yeah, he kind of has that weird... You know what he kind of looks like? He sort of looks like Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010.
Yeah.
He actually does kind of... I wish we could have a side-by-side, because he does actually kind of look like
when
him.
they're trying to do Jack Healy, whatever his name is, when they're trying to like... do the whole thing of like, he's not that bad. He didn't actually touch the kids.
He has a haircut like that and shit as well. And he's running away. He's like, oh my God, why are you doing this to me?
Welcome to my nightmare, bitch.
That was actually really good. I'm petitioning for Tom to be the next Freddy Krueger.
Fat Freddy Krueger.
He mightn't have to petition, because if he gets possessed, he might turn into Freddy.
I gotta get through this pickle drink.
Chelsea will come home some night and he's
pickle time.
burning the skin off his face with a hot frying pan. But half possessed, one milky white eye. He's like frying his face on the pan.
Alright, now carry on.
You'll be like fucking your man from Freddy versus Jason, where he's like, babe, don't make me ask you twice. And he's like, twisting his head around, walking up the stairs.
Yeah, she's like, this is a good idea to go back up there.
Oh, God. On the night of December 24th, Ernest enlisted his brother Scott to drive him. In the early hours, under the cover of darkness, Ernest slipped into Jean's home, where Jean lived with the girls and Victoria's 9-month-old baby, Madison. Oh, God. Is this Scomer? I think it is. Also, right, his brother's obviously scum as well then. If he's like what reason You ring your brother and go, hey man, any chance of a lift? And he's like, yeah, no problem. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to my ex. You know, my ex-wife and my kids who were accusing me of sexually assaulting them.
Yeah, and in trial.
I'm just dropping over on Christmas Eve at nighttime for no reason.
Yeah.
So his brother obviously knew. Also, what is that drink again?
Whiskey
that looks
sour.
nicer. That looks
7%.
Whiskey that looks sour. Much nicer.
It's like nicer. That. But when I had one before we went go-karting, and it gave me a little bit of heartburn. I was like, I can't handle the sugary shit. I'm getting old, man.
Yeah, I feel that as well, man. I went to a comedy show last Wednesday night in Dublin. Like it was like a big arena tour. And like I had to try like 5 or 6 different alcohols because I was sitting there like a pensioner. I was like, oh, I have heartburn. Oh, I feel really gassy. Oh, I'm getting a headache. And I'm like, wow, I am
no
some
sugary
dork.
Stuff, man.
I'm such a dork.
Stuff. This is why you need to come to Canada, and then we can go go-karting. That'd be sweet. It was pretty fun. I haven't been since I was.
Can you do that when you're drunk?
They didn't know.
Oh.
Just don't act like it.
Just standing there like everything's fine.
Well, I only had one drink. Like that's it.
That's not too bad.
Somebody claimed that somebody else was though. I was like, oh, I can see that.
Okay, so at some point between late Christmas Eve and the early hours of Christmas morning, he shot Jean once in the head. He then shot Victoria and Elizabeth at close range. The baby miraculously was left alive in the house, alone, lying next to her murdered mother. Ernest walked away believing he had erased the witnesses. When Jean didn't show up for her shift at a hospital, a job she was known to be punctual and reliable at, co-workers were alarmed. Police were dispatched for a welfare check. On Christmas Day, an officer entered the home and discovered the bodies of Jean and her daughters. In another room, crying but alive, was baby Madison, abandoned amidst the carnage. One detail that carries that Christmas horror, the child had spent hours alone, crawling and lying next to her mother's corpse during what was supposed to be the baby's first Christmas. Christ almighty.
You know, like, people have said this about me because, especially when I'm stoned, but if you look at his kids, the 2 daughters, they could look Asian, but then he looks like a white guy.
It's kind of weird.
Eyes.
That's what I was just gonna say. He has some weird ass eyelids.
I know. It's funny because a lot of people claim there's like, you could be native, you look native or whatever, and I was like, well, I traced my family back to 1604. I always call it the native shit too. So I'm like, the whole time I get my DNA test, I'm like quarter Native American, and then it's just like, now who's talking, you know? Because we don't know how far my one bloodline goes back because it cuts off. It's like Canada 1604, then in America, and then it's like we don't know what happened after that or before that.
You know, it's gonna be really cool. Like in however long from now, people will be able to do their ancestry, and it'll be like, oh, you were developed in a tube somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
There's theories about that. We're going to be getting to on the show. That Mormon lady's going to come back. And I really wanted to explain it to Billy because it's all about how like there was like the orphan train, which I know about kind of stuff where they like even Jerry Seinfeld, that creep, claims that his parents were like he was from this orphan baby train thing. And
you don't like Jerry Seinfeld, no?
Well, he dated a 17-year-old when he was like 38 or some bullshit.
Seems like a cool guy. I've still got some time left.
Isn't he?
Yeah, I don't like that shit about him. And he has
Just
that
kidding,
big
just kidding.
Jew nose as well.
Yeah. Okay, carry on. Let's finish the story.
Investigators quickly focused on Ernest. The motive was brutally clear and almost cinematic in its coldness. Kill the key witnesses and the impending sex abuse case collapses. Prosecutors described him as a desperate gambler who would do anything to evade responsibility. And
He
in
looks
this
like
case,
that. I think you can tell.
Yeah, he like now again. I don't know. Like, is it one of those things where if someone said like, "Oh, he ran into a building and saved 100 people," you'd be like, "Yeah, he looks like that kind of guy."
Yeah, I know, right? How do you really tell?
The jury, let's see. So, they said he would do anything to evade responsibility, and in this case, that meant executing his entire family. The jury agreed. In 2004, Ernest was convicted of 3 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. What makes the case so chilling is A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Is its total lack of emotional disguise. There was no sudden drunken argument, no blindsiding psychotic break. It was a methodical legal strategy carried out in blood timed perfectly to the holidays when his victims would all be together, relaxed and vulnerable.
Yeah.
While other families opened gifts, Ernest's family were being zipped into body bags because he wanted to walk into court without anyone there to speak against him. My
It's
only
so
question,
obvious, though. You know.
yeah,
like,
that's what I was just going to say. Like,
he has the pure motive to do it.
like, generally speaking, like, I think if I was ever put in that position, right, and I made the dumb decision to go, right, okay, I need to kill that person to like get away with it. Generally speaking, right, if you're trying to get away with sexually assaulting your kids, shooting them in the head and like leaving a lot of evidence and like having
Tons of evidence.
like is probably not the way like it's like, yes, you're getting away with the sexual assault because you're being charged with a triple homicide.
So crazy. It's
Like,
like,
that is the dumb-
these coppers will never
Yeah.
catch me.
Like,
if I just kill everybody and then just leave them there with no plan to like get rid of the bodies, make it look like they were missing, because he could have done the whole thing where like cases we'll eventually get to of like this idea of like you drive the car away and you like hide the car.
At least try.
Like, yeah, I know. And he's like, let's just leave the bodies everywhere.
I know you like obviously probably don't know, but what do we reckon is like the time frame for, let's say he gets convicted of sexually assaulting his daughters? What kind of time frame do you say he's going to get in jail? 10 years, 15 years? Depending on the severity of it.
He's white, so like life. But then
500 years.
Somalian guy will get like, you get
10
5
minutes.
months. Yeah, 10 minutes. Do you know what you did wrong? And they have to like sit him in the jail cell.
Do you have ID, sir? No. No problem.
Here's a 5-star
house.
hotel. Yeah.
Here's a house. Here's the keys to your brand new car.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so crazy because that's literally what's happening. I would say under regular circumstances, it could be even like 5 to 10 years, right? Maybe
So, like,
15.
This guy was like, think about it, right? Let's say
Could've been 8 years, good
worst
time
case
served,
scenario,
so.
he gets 12 to 15 years, let's say.
Yeah.
Right? Worst case scenario. Where in his thought process was it like, okay, what if I just kill everybody, then it's fine because I won't get 15 years. I'll get life.
That's such a childish thing to do too. It's like,
But especially
So,
to make no attempt. I wonder, though, did he just do it? Did he just do it? And like, he just had this idea of, I'll just kill them all and then it won't be an issue. And then afterwards, once his rage cooled off, was he like, oh, I'm a fucking dumbass?
so everyone knows, like during true crime cases, you've listened to a lot of them. If you are just tuning into the show now, go back. I laugh through true crime because I have to. This is what we do. Me and Billy have said this since the beginning. Unless it's like Billy, we were talking about Chris Watts that a lot of people did like at the time that we covered it, and people were asking for like part 2. But even Billy,
case.
it's so fucked up too. And Billy was like, I don't like it because it's more recent. He's like, if we're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer in the 80s, there's a disconnect. You know what I mean?
I
But
do
when you're
Chris
talking
Watts.
about something, yeah, if you're doing like we're talking about something more recent or whatever, right? And that's like there's many different cases, like some of the more bizarre ones that we could get to and stuff like that. And I'm actually advocating for maybe covering Ted Bundy. I know he's been overdone. I said that since the beginning, where I'm like, we don't need to cover him. Everyone's done it. But I'm like, I feel like we could have a different spin, especially either if it's all 3 of us or me and you, because we have this weird way of like being like sometimes even putting ourselves in the shoes of the killer and stuff like that. And it's just like, even a lot of people praise our Toy Box Killer episode.
I still get messages about that up and down.
Yeah, it's, people love that episode. And because we push the limits on things, but also this is what I do. Like, I understand people died. It's horrible. I wouldn't wish any of this on anybody. But I think like some of the circumstances and the ways that these things happen and the even motive or the thought process of either the killer, most of the killer, the victims, it's not their fault. But like, it's like, whoa, like, let's just get rid of the problem.
That one was just wild, though, the Toy Box
Yeah.
killer
That
thing.
dog
That
shit.
was just fucking like wild.
So let's get to Florida. Everyone loves Flow Rider. Let's so in December
I love
20,
Florida so much.
I've never been. Juan kept telling me to come down, but he quit podcasting, I heard. So I haven't talked to him in a
really?
bit, but
Quit
yeah,
like completely?
I think so. Love the boy, love you, man. His business is doing well. I'll have to shout him out and see if we were talking about doing episodes and stuff like, I don't know, months ago, right? But crazy. For other people that like strange ones, eat those up. They're on Patreon also. So support the Patreon and you'll get a lot of extra content and stuff that you won't hear on the main show, videos of stuff. So 67-year-old Michelle Dude.
Oh,
Dowd.
I can jump in here. Michelle O'Dowd.
Dowd?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because she's probably Irish.
I would imagine so. That's what that sounds like.
Does she look like an old Irish lady? I think so.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not the other one.
Oh, I was going to say the other one looks like quarterback.
Was the kind of person who actually lived the Christmas spirit. She took people in when they were struggling, gave them a place to sleep, and, generosity is how Patty Michelle White ended up staying at her house. An old co-worker of the family, considered a friend, White was down on her luck, and Michelle let her stay in Jacksonville, home over the holidays, trusting her in a way that could cost her life. And it is interesting. This is what Billy was doing for a bit. I don't think he would care if I shared this out, but he was like there's times where he would let people stay at his home. One time there was a drug, she was a druggie, and I was like, you're not going to help her, man. And he's
not for me.
I know, like, don't do it, bro. And then bad things happened. Almost fairly severe things. Like, I'm sure he'd probably tell it on the show, but I'm not going to air his information out. But he's like a nice guy, likes taking care of people. That's kind of who he is. And it's just a bad idea. And I warned him about it.
People see that, though. People can see that. And even though you might think...
empathy.
Even though you might think that someone's like, oh, they're a drug addict or they're an alcoholic, they don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of those people are super clued into, like, when they
how
go, oh, maybe you can crash in my house. And then all of a sudden they're really clued in. They're like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And before you know it, they're doing some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm. So when Michelle finally suddenly stopped showing up for work at the PNC Bank, her twin brother Phil went to check on her. He walked into a scene at first glance looked like Christmas disaster. The house was ransacked, Christmas tree toppled slightly, wrapping paper and presents scattered around. It looked like a burglary gone wrong. Maybe a frantic struggle while someone tore through the place for valuables. Phil walked through the living room, probably calling her name. Maybe half expecting her to pop out, annoyed that he was overreacting. It's like, she just does this sometimes. She gets into her wine and she just spirals,
She smashes up the whole house and covers it in blood.
Yeah, he didn't see her at first. He was only when he looked at a pile of presents by the tree, he noticed something gruesome, grotesque, out of place. Sticking out from the pile of gifts under the Christmas tree was a foot. So this is Michelle. Oh, how do you say it? Dowd?
Yeah, Dowd.
And her foot were sticking out, supposedly. Had been beaten and strangled. White had dragged her to the area under the Christmas tree, covered her in presents and decorations, and left her there like a broken mannequin. In a Christmas display, a towel placed over Michelle's bloody face. The symbolic twist is on the kind of nose of someone who would reject a horror movie script, like a gift under a Christmas tree, murdered by the homeowner, like a murdered homeowner under the Christmas tree. Police later said that the scene had been staged, looked like a robbery. Drawers pulled out and things were like overturned and they're, basic. What actually happened was uglier. White, as we see her on the screen, this bleach blonde hair, manly looking lesbian, killed this woman, then used her bank card and went on the run, which they would be able to trace where you are and what you're doing. White was arrested in South Carolina and extradited back to Florida, where she eventually pleaded guilty to the second-degree murder and was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Journalists and true crime writers would later latch on to the phrase body under the tree, turning Michelle's death into one of the most iconic modern horror Christmas murders. But I don't know, I guess I said horror, didn't I? It's modern Christmas murders. But under the headline is simple: A woman took someone in for the holidays, which people would do. They feel bad for them. And she was killed out of her own kindness, essentially, and hidden under a tree, almost as a symbol of like a season for the season of goodwill, which is so crazy.
What's the motive for killing her?
Stuff, things, you know.
Again, like, look, obviously I've never been in maybe that position, but it's like, I don't know, the escalation there I feel is quite like, if I was gonna do something wild like that, I want to be getting access to like stupid money or resources or something to even dream of something like that. Like, I find it really funny when these like dumb, like toothless hicks are like, oh, let me kill this old lady and like I'll steal her food stamps or something on her bank card that has like $50 on it. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
It's almost like what drugs do to people, right? It's like, if I can just get to my next high. A lot of times if they are drug dealers or they're in that kind of lifestyle, it's just to get to that next high, right? I'm very excited. I have Eileen Warner's ready to go. I've always wanted to cover her. And I think me and Aaron want to cover it if we can get Billy in on it. But like this whole idea of like, where does it come where it's just like, where it's out of necessity, or is it out of desperation, or is it out of pleasure, right?
Actually funny that you say that. And I don't know what the show was. It's some sort of a UK show, I think, from like the early 2000s. And I seen a clip of it earlier today on TikTok. And it was basically a guy who, he wasn't even an alcoholic, he wasn't a druggie or anything, but like he was in just one of those circumstances where like he had no real family. His parents were both dead. He was, I think, like in his like mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
And he was trying to like better himself. Now this was like a pretty well-spoken guy. Like he was dressed in like a suit and like a trench coat thing. He was like, you know, going for job interviews and all this shit. And he was like, I can't afford to keep my one-bedroom apartment. Like I have to keep trying to figure out ways to make money till I can get like a proper fixed job. And it's kind of funny. It sort of ties into what you said about like out of necessity. So he brings these really, and like, now you can imagine this is late 90s, early 2000s. He has these like giant headphones for some sort of like Walkman or some sort of like stereo system. And they're obviously
for all the kids out there, I legit used to carry around a CD player in my pocket, and it was like,
yep.
You know, think about like just a diameter of like 7 inches.
I'd have a hoodie on, and like my hoodie would be down like on my shins with the weight of the.
Oh
CD
no!
player.
Yeah, I know. Remember, I had one that had like the palm. You could like strap it to your palm. That shit was sick. Because like, holy fuck, yeah, I could not like have this like shoved in my pocket. It's in my hand, and it will skip every time I fucking walk 5 seconds.
Yep. But yeah, he brings in these like giant headphones, and like obviously at the time they were probably worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether he had inherited them or whatever it was in this big stereo system. And he brings them into some like cash trading thing, whatever. And the guys, he seems to reckon, I don't know, somebody said like, oh, you could trade these to get a phone. Because he was like, I need a phone like to do job interviews and be able to take calls and stuff. And then there must have been miscommunication, and the manager of the store comes back and he's like, no, we can't just trade you and give you a phone. They're not worth that much. He was like, all I can offer you is £20. And he was like, no, just give me my headphones back because I'm not doing that. So the guy is like, okay, I need to go take care of paperwork and stuff because we've already done the trade. So after a while, the guy comes back and he's like, it's going to be another few minutes, blah, blah, we'll get your money, or we'll get your headphones back. And then he just turns around and he goes, it's fine, I'll just take the £20. And they're like, what? And he's like, I'll take the £20. And he's like, I thought you were like really adamant that you wanted, because they were worth so much money. And he was like, it's fine, I'm gonna need the £20 anyway, so it just doesn't matter. And it just kind of showed me like what you're saying, like it's a different thing, but like the same concept of if it's a necessity,
need my drugs
yeah,
now.
you're just gonna be like, you know, if I have something that's worth $1,000 and I can only get 50 for it, and I want whatever I want right now, or I need whatever I need, I guess I'll take 50.
Yeah, and it is interesting because like I was just someone I'd love to get on Class Horrorcast, and I think we could have the ability to do it. But Jamie Kennedy, like I don't listen to many podcasts anymore, like, but if I have the time or whatever, it's usually like some conspiracy stuff or like maybe even Jeremy show where it's like very political and the world's coming to an end and there's so many bad things happening. Sometimes like he's conspiratorial in his thoughts, but he also does it in a very balanced way. But he was talking to Jason Mewes, and Jason's like talking about some of the stories that he had. And it's like, man, where you just like, you're just so desperate. And it just started off like, oh, like it's always and Jamie's like the devil, right? It's always a girl that like gets you into this stuff. And then he's like doing fucking heroin. And then he's like, he only liked intravenous drugs. And I liked him. I met him. Right. So it's like, oh man, it's tough life.
Yeah. It's crazy to think, you know, I've heard stories of people from around here that like, struggled in life with things like parents dying, losing a long-term partner, and then turning to alcohol.
Yeah.
And just like that slow descent into just fucking depravity, basically. So much so that it's like go out at nighttime, like at whatever time. What time is it right now?
Too late.
11:25 p.m.
Yeah, you're saying.
Would like go out at this time and like eat out of public bins so nobody from around here would see.
Yeah.
And like just shit like
gross.
that, and you're like you've got no idea, I suppose, what some people are
what's that called? There's something hopper.
like
I knew people garbage hop, whatever, is gross.
that shit's just wild though, man, to be in that position to even fucking consider
I couldn't imagine. It reminds me of like in that, like now we're getting off side, but that in Spawn where he like grabs like, what is it, like the like a burger, it's got like maggots on it and shit.
Yep.
And ew. So most people know in the Snowtown murders as the Australian. Is it your turn or my turn?
It is my turn, sir.
All right, carry on. Let's just break down this case and get through it. And we'll get to
Bodies
the
in
next
the
one.
barrels, Snowtown and a holiday discovery. Most people know the Snowtown murders as that Australian case with the bodies in the barrels. Between 1992 and 1999, in and around Adelaide, ringleader John Bunting and his accomplices Robert Wagner, James Velasquez, and Mark Hayden tortured and murdered at least 11 people. Many of the victims were on the fringes of society, people with disabilities, mental illness, addictions, or just unlucky enough to fall into their circle.
Easy pickings, bro. Easy pickings, you know?
And those people are willing to...
So funny.
I've watched stuff about ladies of the night.
Oh, yeah.
In the States.
The less dead, they call them, right?
And like, I was actually kind of shocked by how the difference between, say, how some of them are quite, I don't want to say well put together, but they're quite conscious of like how dangerous what they're doing is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to the other end of the spectrum where chicks will literally just like a dude will pull up and be like, oh, you want to get in my car and you can come to my place and have a shower? And she's like, sure, murderer, let me get in your car. No problem.
Terrible.
So where are we? The killers justified some of the murders by claiming their victims were pedophiles or otherwise undesirable, turning the whole thing into a twisted vigilante fantasy layered over outright sadism. The Christmas connection in Snowtown isn't a single festive day killing, but the timing and impact of the discovery. On May 20th through 21st, 1999, just months out from the Australian winter holidays, police investigating missing persons followed a trail to a disused bank in a small town of Snowtown. When forensic officers opened the vault, they were hit with a smell of decomposition and chemicals. Inside were large plastic barrels filled with acid and human remains. That
smell like shit. Why does it smell so bad in here? Yeah, you could say that some of them look like pedos, but that one guy, look at the guy up top that looks like some Hunter S. Thompson look-alike.
Yeah, there's a
Is
couple
that Billy down there? Oh, he's gonna be bad about that one.
Poor Billy. Right. Inside were large plastic barrels filled with acid and human remains. Officers later described the horror of realizing they had been sitting on the floor of that vault eating lunch before knowing what was in the barrels a few feet away.
That's wild.
That's sick. I'll be honest.
That's crazy.
What came out in court was a catalogue of prolonged torture, victims beaten, electrocuted, strangled, dismembered. The group kept collecting their welfare payments even after they were dead, ringing government offices and impersonating them in grotesque phone calls. Some victims were lured to their death with false promises of work or support. One of the killers, Velasquez, ended up testifying against the others, describing scenes so graphic that even seasoned investigators were shaken.
Yo, just leave it there. Just leave it there. I got a better idea. Let's tease this. Let's carry on to the next case. This seems so in depth that I think I would like to cover
to do an episode.
Dude, it's wild. Like, I want to know what the hell.
Do you know there's a movie called The Snowtown Murders that is really, really good? I
heard when I was researching this case.
Now, it's one of those things. I remember watching it randomly on TV years ago, and like I actually at the end I was actually really bummed out. You know, when you're kind of like, huh, that was pretty. You know, when a movie covers something that's from real life, but they do it in such a good way that it's really grim and depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I came away from it going like, wow, I actually kind of feel like shit.
Yeah, and that's like that gets your kind of like gut going, or you just feel like kind of like in the pit of your stomach, kind of awful about it.
Yep.
So if you guys go back into the Christmas crime episode, it was like comical. I think we covered the Daytona Christmas murders. They're one of the most famous one with a guy named DeMarcus and Marvelous. So can you tell what? Yes. No white person is naming their kid DeMarcus or Marvelous. You know what I mean? There's no way. Do you know
Marvelous?
Marvelous.
That's hilarious to me.
That's like the blackest name I've ever heard. So there was robberies, but I think we'd covered this.
What about DeMarvelous?
DeMarvelous, yeah, it's true. You know. But it's we covered this, I feel like, and it was funny because this case is what we did with a show called Wolf and the Bull, and I don't know if they still do podcasts. I know the one guy was doing history podcasts. We got along with them well. This was Anton was part of the show, and go back and listen to it because it's quite funny that we just had this random like podcast like music, like they had like hotel music. And then Anton was talking about one of the stories, and it's about a guy that he took a flamethrower and like burnt all of his like coworkers alive or some crazy shit. And the way Anton was doing it was so funny because it was like, he's like, welcome to South Carolina when we come down to the sunny snow. And this guy just got a flamethrower with a pack of whatever it was. And it was just like perfectly timed. And the one guy was interesting enough. The show was a guy and his father-in-law that would do the show together. So it was like an interesting take. And we did a show on them prior, and I did mushrooms. I think they don't do the show anymore. I think that he does his own stuff, but I think that they didn't carry on Wolf and the Bull. But it was a good dynamic. And one dude was just dying laughing, listen to Anton do this in like this comical voice. So we're going to skip that story. And we're going to bring it straight down to this one as wild. This weird, talking about like Christmas Day witchcraft. But yeah, check that out because we did cover some true crime, and it was fun, and it was a ridiculous time, and it's funny how long time ago things feel.
Yeah, it's weird. Like when you think back to like the first time we ever recorded to now, and it's like all this
feels
time
like
passed, and you're like, huh?
I know
it's weird. It's like I don't like. I was trying to like remember, and I do remember like, but it's that thing of like, what did I like? What was I doing?
We like instantly clicked, and it was a strange time because I met you over TikTok, and when I first saw your content, I thought you were gonna be some like maybe 48 to 55-year-old like man that just loved horror movies.
It turns out I was like 12.
Yeah, a little boy, a little horror boy.
Ugh.
Well, like some of these we'll cover maybe on its own thing for a Christmas True Crime episode because we could be doing that in a November to December thing, but. Going through these, I want to get to the cases that I know that the fans haven't heard of. The Sauter family is an interesting one that we actually might just cover for Patreon. I've had it kind of ready for a while, but this one is interesting. One I didn't hear of. It's called the Christmas Day Witchcraft. It is the torture and drowning of Christy Bemue, London, 2010. So we have Christmas time, it's 2010. 15-year-old Christy Bamu, that's how I'm going to say it, traveled from Paris with her siblings to spend time over the holidays with their older sister, Magali. I would say it like
Yeah,
that.
I have no idea what that is.
Magali. And her
Magalie, whatever that is.
And her boyfriend, Eric Bukibu.
Why is with the weird ass names?
Bicubu. Well, we'll get to that later. So in East London flat, it would have been a simple family visit. Instead, it turned into one of the most sadistic Christmas crimes in modern British history, tied to beliefs. Kindoki, a former witchcraft from the Congolese community. So it's like, it's not British culture that started this murder. It's a different type of culture that started coming in to British culture, you could say, kind of recently, you know? Bringing their witch. I saw a crazy video, dude, and it was like African people in Africans in African garb in some sort of small community doing witchcraft and going around this small little community and just like waving some sort of magic. I don't know what they were doing. And they're both wearing like, you know, like the weird like dresses with all the tribal symbols. And they got the little like square hat, looks like a little chef hat, but it's like tribalistic or whatever. And they were like saying that they were going to curse everybody in the town. And I'm like, this is what we're letting in. Come on. Like, this is the craziest shit ever. Like, people are like, kill this cat and you will be sacrificed for our God. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely nuts.
That's what I'm telling you, man. Give everyone AK-47s. Give all the native people, and I don't mean natives as in what most people pick that up as. I mean people native to whatever land it is. Yeah. Give all the people guns.
Because, like, how else are you supposed to protect yourself against this crazy nonsense?
Dual-wielding machetes while screaming and chopping chicken heads off.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Some of the videos I've seen online are absolutely fucking nuts. And so at this point during the visit, I'm not going to pronounce this guy's name. Bicubu. What's his first name? Let's go by that. His name is Eric. Very simple. Probably not his real name, though. Became convinced that Christy had and some of her younger children were witches, bringing bad luck to the whole the household. What followed was not a single outburst of violence, but a sustained campaign of torture disguised as exorcism. Hey, look. I'm the captain now. And like, it's so crazy. Like, that's nuts to be like, you are witches. I was trying to do, we're at that Christmas dinner. I was trying to do my African, and I was like, I got to get an African accent. I got to get it on point. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like, I am tribalistic, you know? We need to sacrifice the virgins to our God. Beelzebub, you know?
It'll serve you well, I think, if you get it locked down.
Yeah. It's good. Like, this is absolutely nuts. So it's like, he's like, be like, I am convinced you are all witches, you know? And then he's like, let's bring an end to this. We're going to make some fun exorcism. That's what we're going to get into. And over several days, Christy and his siblings were beaten with sticks, metal bars, and pieces of furniture. What piece of furniture do you think he was beating them with?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of it as I don't know. Do you take like the legs off of a chair or something, or like
yeah, pieces of furniture. So you'd have to like sit it in, or like it'd have to be something you relax on. They were deprived of food and water, and Christy suffered more than 100 separate injuries, according to prosecutors. Cuts, bruises, fractures. Neighbors later recalling hearing noises, but nothing made them call the police. Sounds like a fun community to live in. But behind,
so this is a boy.
Yeah.
Christy is a boy.
Yes.
Huh.
You know what? If you painted a gray alien black, I feel like this is what he would. You know what I mean?
And so that chick and dude, then those are the ones doing the like. Yeah. So they're the murder, witchcrafty exorcist people.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, couple jailed for life. Absolutely
crazy. By Christmas Day, Christie was in such agony, according to evidence later read out in courts, he begged to die. Like, that's absolutely insane. And then Eric and his, the chick, whatever her last name is, Magalai, forced the children into the bathroom for a cleansing ritual, filling the bath, and Christie, weak, injured, couldn't keep himself upright. He slipped under and drowned. His siblings beaten but alive. They described how their brother was attacked with a hammer and a chisel, how he was accused again and again of sorcery and told to confess. The whole thing was framed as getting rid of demons, but was nothing more than ritualistic sadism. It is absolutely insane. And were they on drugs? Because this is either way. I know I may have made fun of the victim. Not my fault. I didn't know. But like this whole case is absolutely insane. Is that what they did to him is fucking terrible, man. That's crazy that they're like, you got the demon in you. I'm not going to try that, but again, but you have a demon in you. I'm going to have to you see this hammer? I'm going to drive the demon out. You see this chisel? We're going to bash against your nose far enough.
Here's a question, right? And I know this is probably a pretty big question, so we can just gloss over it and maybe talk about it on a rant episode or something sometime.
Yeah.
But so say in a situation like that, right? Are you of the mind that, so like there's people close to me and like, you know, these conversations always come up, like it'll probably come up again around Christmas. We'll start talking about some bullshit to do with immigration or something and we'll end up on all these crazy topics about stuff. So there's like people in my family who are of the mind that if you take a life or anything like that, you forfeit your own instantly. And it's just death. There should be no like way about it. It's just like, okay, yeah, you need to go to court and have it all put through the court system, but like death is there is no option for like life in prison.
It depends. It depends what it is, right?
And then I have like, so then, and I get that argument. You know, it's like, okay, if you've taken someone's life and whatever in a situation like this, both of you should just be killed. Like there's no need to that's it. Like you forfeit everything. The other side of that is though, sometimes with sick motherfuckers like this, I kind of feel like that's a kind of a cop out though. You get to just die by lethal injection or something, which is not really going to be that bad. I know ultimately like probably nobody wants to die, but like it's kind of a cop out. Like I think if you said to me, if I had done something super fucked up and tomorrow you told me, right, Aaron, you have two options. You can spend the rest of your life in a prison cell with a load of lunatics, or you can just get an injection and just die. I think I'd just take the lethal
that's
injection.
what they're doing to Canadians, right? It's like, do you want like the whole MAID program? I don't want to get too much into it, but even when I was out getting some food and then I heard this woman talk about her ex-husband and how he's like, oh, he was suffering, so whatever, he just got the MAID program. And it's like, I don't know if that's like, how do you know you're going to die, right? I've known a lot of people that are getting sick recently and having issues and things that are like detrimental to their health, people I know and care about and stuff. And it's this thing of like, what if they could have pulled through, right? But when it comes to like murder though, I think if it's out of self-defense, that's why you have to be,
sorry, I didn't frame the question correctly.
I
just mean in the sense of,
but if someone randomly is a random act of murder, like Jeffrey Dahmer just picking up some sort of Puerto Rican boy because he likes that he has no hair on his chest and then murders him, I think probably you should be put to death, because like you could study these people and figure out and try to do methods to rehabilitate them at the end of the day. But I think at some point, if you're doing heinous acts of murder that just violently murder somebody for like no motive, no reason, I think maybe then the death penalty is warranted. So, and it is funny because you have the same people, right, that like don't want the death penalty that like abortions. So there's a lot of like hypocritical things going on. You know what I mean?
It's just an interesting one to me because I've often thought about this for some reason. I don't know why, but like I don't know what's worse in my mind now. I don't agree with, like, so for example, we have a couple of prisons here in Ireland that criminals will look forward to going to. I know of guys from the area I live in that are notorious for being in trouble for assaults and fucking robberies and just crazy shit all the time. And like around December, they will purposely do something to end up in prison over the holidays because they get it so chilled out. Like they have PlayStation, they fucking get presents, they chill out, they get Christmas dinner.
Yeah, it's like Charles Manson was like, he was so like, he was happy about it because it gave him somewhere to go, something to eat, you know, he felt at home.
So it's like, you know, I know someone like Trump is mad, like he's talking about like Guantanamo Bay and stuff. And he's like, yeah, we need to like open all that stuff back up and have it really grim and sick and horrible. And which do you think is a worse punishment? Because I do think, right, if you're going to have prisons for some of these sick, pedophile, creepy, murderer, torturer people, they need to go into some sick, grim place like that to suffer.
Like
I don't
some
think there should
Clockwork
be.
Orange shit.
Yeah, like I think it needs to be like, if you've ever seen, there's a movie called In Hell with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he ends up in prison in like Serbia or Russia or somewhere. And like it is the sickest fucking, like it's like some sort of gulag. It's the most miserable looking shithole I've ever seen. And I personally think if you're going to put some of these sickos in somewhere, it needs to be like that. There is no Wi-Fi, there is no fucking Netflix and PlayStation and like yummy commissary. Like let's get chocolate and snacks and stuff. That should be just gone.
You know what's interesting too, like, and I was just thinking about it too, it's just like, we, for the fans out there, I'm wondering, like, you know, the direction of the show, there's still going to be deep dives into things and stuff like that, but I'm actually wondering what the fans think, we had more Christmas murders, but we're almost at, like, an hour 15, we were, like, condensing time. There's a part of me that thinks like maybe for some things, especially if they're like a bunch of different cases, we should keep them short and sweet and then get our thoughts across. Because I feel like the more that I'm getting older and doing this show, sometimes it is nice to just vent and talk and really discuss these ideas rather than really trying to add in all the extra fluff of a case. Obviously, for some things, big deep dives, we're going to have to include all the details because I'm like always curious of what you or Billy may think, or even get my own thoughts across about some of the more obscure, like murder of what they're doing. Like I always like those details of like, oh, he was like, he pulled out 5 fingernails and then ate them and then shit it out. You know what I mean? Like those weird, like, I know those weird like details where you're like, holy fuck, did he actually do that? But part of me thinks that we should kind of keep some of this stuff that we're doing going forward. I love to hear the fans like short and sweet. Like I have this thing pulled up where it's like, you know, in DC, in 2017, Andrew Barry was convicted of killing his 2 young daughters, Aubrey and Chloe, on Christmas Day in Oak Bay, BC. This must have been in Canada. Hours before he was due to return to their mother, he recently lost them to their mother and lost a bid for parole. So I'm like, wondering if the fans think that, because me and Aaron especially get into these talks, right?
Yeah, it's hard sometimes because like I don't even know how the conversation kind of. There's always like an adjacent conversation. So like that just when, you know, you said about one of them, the dude got 30 years and the chick got 25, whatever. It just got me thinking about that. And I was like, is that the correct punishment though to get? Okay, I know ultimately like nobody wants to be in prison no matter how comfortable it is. But at the same time, is it right for someone to do that to a 15-year-old boy and be able to go, well, you know what, worst case scenario, I'm gonna go somewhere where I can play PlayStation and do whatever. Okay, maybe I've lost my freedom, but technically I can still have Netflix and my PlayStation and chocolate.
There are some of those people that just love being in jail, though.
Yeah,
there
like
is.
I
Like
said,
100%.
there's people local to here like that will. It's like a common thing that they say. We're like coming up to Christmas because a lot of those motherfuckers don't really have any place to go. So they go in for Christmas for like 4 weeks or 6 weeks.
In Canada, it's cold as shit. So why not break a crime? Like break a crime, break the law, commit a crime, and then you get locked up, and then you have a warm place to stay, and you have food and stuff like that the system pays for, right? So at the end of the day, like that is possible that there would be people. You know, maybe next time we'll do a bigger, like next year. We'll do focus on, maybe we'll do a whole month of true crime Christmas. You know what I mean? Because there's a possibility. Because I just feel like we can get into so many of these different thoughts about things, and there's like some pretty big cases about this stuff.
I'd like to do those Snowtown murders at the start of next year,
dude.
I'll be honest.
I think that's a good idea because that shit is bizarre. Because I just realized, that there's so much to these cases, and even like there's like the Goldmark family murders, a politically motivated anti-Semitic attack from a misguided killer targeted the. Listen to the name though, Goldmark. Like you named your family name is like, my name is Auschwitz Gold Bar. You know what I mean? Like it's just so absurd. My name is Schmidt Goldhouse. It's supposed to be leading a high profile trial in capital punishment debates. So this misguided killer targeted the family. Listen to this one, unsolved holiday mysteries, burger chef murders in 1978. 4 employees disappeared from a burger chef. That must be a restaurant in Indiana on the day near Christmas, and their bodies were found later, but the murders were never caught. Making it a prominent unsolved crime. Interesting, because I didn't even see those when I was looking up some of the murder cases that we were covering, like some of the true crime Christmas stuff. It is it's not surprising, but how much murder occurs on Christmas, people's had enough.
Yeah, like I could see it. It's like that time of year, and like just all it takes is one little thing, and you just snap here. Like I've enough of that now, and I don't know what to do.
If you really don't have a lot of family and stuff like that, or maybe you and your family don't get along or stuff like that, I could see it like leading to people snapping.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy. I wanted to cover this and try to do it within good time. I'm a busy guy being a dad and stuff now, and we're trying to shorten these episodes up, and then when we do deep dives, we're really going to get into the meat of it. So we appreciate everyone that listened. And if Aaron, do you have any thoughts or any things you were looking up, or just
as regards
to like Christmas? I don't know. Thinking about Christmas.
No,
time.
But I do. It's
Something
funny just when you said
Christmas
that earlier
about
the idea of, I've been in situations, as I'm sure many people listening have, where, maybe you're at a family gathering or something, and family who are not together most of the year get together, and it starts out fine, and then people, like, alcohol gets involved, or maybe there's not even alcohol, maybe there's some weird family tension that starts to boil over. And I can see that if maybe, I don't know, maybe if you're a little bit fucking gone in the head, or if there's like alcohol or drugs or something going on, that maybe you could just snap and be like, you know what, I've had enough, I'm going to do something crazy. Yeah,
like the loss.
And I think
family.
it's that thing, like, where it's maybe afterwards when you calm down again and you're like, oh fuck.
Like, think about this. Is this dude like legit? Like the Lawson family one is just the creepiest one. And, just look at all the people that are like, oh, shit, man, surrounded by the coffins and what happened in the house. Is it like this thing of, like, he's taking that picture, and he like,
knows.
And he knows. And he was like,
motherfuckers are all going to be dead.
No, that's so crazy to me. I enjoyed this, and I actually want to know the fans' opinions. Like, should we stick to smaller cases? And, like, I'm not saying that in general. We'll be doing deep dives because I like doing them. But for the fans, like hearing our thoughts more, like I'm curious if we should do more of a try to break things down more in point form and really contextualize and talk about the subject. So, we have a lot of fans out there, and, you can email us even at strangefoodpodcast@gmail.com. I don't shout out our stuff often enough. More and more people I see are, especially in the last couple of weeks, have been subscribing to the Patreon. We appreciate that. There's going to be more content for that. But there's stuff I want to cover for Patreon, even some of these true crime stories and stuff. And there's an old Christmas special that is only on Patreon and stuff like that you guys can check out. But, I just want to know the fans' thoughts. Like, do you like when we break down these big subjects and get into the details and reading kind of off articles? Or would you like to hear more of our thoughts about these said articles? You know what I mean? I feel like people might appreciate us asking, and you can email us or put it in Spotify or leave a review and tell us what you like and what you think we should, I'm curious what the fans think,
Yeah. It'll be interesting to hear what the feedback is, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Cause I do find that especially, me and you just because we've gotten so close doing this, we always like just break stuff down and we are really analyzing, and then we get into stories about our lives, or you ask some pretty good questions, what I think is entertaining. So I'm just like curious because we did have a lot more to cover on this show and many more stories. And then I'm like, it is hard to like cover these, paragraph, big deep dives into each case and give you all the details without us giving our true thoughts about some of this stuff. And it will lead to more true crime Christmas episodes that we can cover. But I was just feeling in the mood where I kind of wanted to ask the fans what they think, and I was just enjoying our conversation rather than trying to really cut it off and then go to the next story, which a lot of shows do. So curious,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And I think a lot of times those questions we bring up, and I find this sometimes when I listen to a podcast, if there's two hosts or a guest or something, they're having a conversation about a question or a topic, I feel like I'm kind of like, then I'm starting to, as I'm listening, like say if I'm driving, I'm listening to something, I'm starting to, as I'm listening to their take, I'm going like, okay, what's my take on that question? Or how do I feel about that actually? Is that something that I've ever thought about?
Yeah, and I like that. And I want to create an entertaining show that everyone can enjoy. And we're always going to get those long deep dives, but I'm starting to think that some of these topics that we could really discuss and we could just kind of give our own thoughts. It was just a thought I had on this one where I'm like, we could maybe have a little more fun doing some rant episodes, doing some more stuff that, that you'll also get on the Patreon, but things that so people can just enjoy the conversation rather than being maybe so structured like we've always kind of done. And I'm like, we've never been really structured, but, maybe it's a little more fun to have a little more fun,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, I think.
Know what I'm saying, you bitches out there? Ho, ho, ho. Credit card? You got it.
That's literally perfect.
It's literally the same
I need to get the soundbite for that, actually, the actual one.
Yeah, and see how it matches up. I had fun with this. We have more stuff that's coming for Christmas. Make sure to join us December 21st for the Christmas special. We'll really appreciate it. We're gonna do a watch along it will be out by the time this comes out. So definitely go check that out. It'll definitely be on Rumble. I'm gonna try to put it on my YouTube and Rumble. Aaron's gonna have it on his stuff. And see, I think YouTube might be able to take it. We're going to do Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 2. Watch along. Billy's going to join us. So by the time you hear this, it'll be on Rumble and at least Rumble and YouTube. Hopefully YouTube. So on our end and on Aaron's end, Class Horrorcast, all that good stuff,
Yes, please check it out. Support. There's lots of Christmassy stuff over the next 2 weeks. And hopefully we start the new year with a bang.
Yeah, we have some ideas and fun stuff to kind of introduce Billy into Class Horrorcast too. So definitely go check that out, our horror podcast. I don't know. I felt in a strange mood tonight. I just wanted to shout out the stuff and if you guys want to support, I'd really appreciate it. And if you guys think I'm getting down to the wires, because like things are getting busy around my household, and we're trying to tighten the ship up a bit, right? Being a father now, and I can't sit here and do 3-hour episodes every time. So, and I'd love to do it, but it's just something that's not feasible anymore. So we're going to introduce some different concepts to the show and have a lot of fun. That's what I plan on doing, and get into some interesting stuff. I got some really controversial, interesting stuff that's coming too. So that shall be fun.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Bye-bye, everybody. Merry Christmas to you and to all a good night.
Shut up, bitch.
All right, I'm just going to end this.